another one.
Whoa, the Khris Middleton show.
Olympian knocking down shot after shot here for Milwaukee.
Khris Middleton brought the Bucks home last night. We will react to his 20-point fourth quarter. Whew. And Trae Young, now questionable for Game 4 against the Bucks. How will this impact the rest of this series? And look at those Suns. They can clinch a finals appearance with a win tonight. What would that mean for Chris Paul? We will discuss. So chill out, cool off with us on a hot summer day.
I look good.
Oh yeah, because the jump is live from Phoenix.
Is your beard flopping?
No, you a hater.
You don't have that type of length on your beard, dog.
That's right. We are here, people. Phoenix, Arizona, the site of Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals tonight. I was told they're testing the Jumbotron. It looked to me like the cube from Dwayne Wade's game show, but it looks good. The Suns can advance to the finals for the first time in 28 years with a win tonight. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I am joined here by just a couple of NBA champs hanging out with us. Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins. Richard brought a little iPad laptop thing that goes
I got a lot of information here.
You got a lot of takes.
I got a lot of stuff going on here. Like Perk don't know nothing about that. You know, Perk uses the power of his own two eyes, but I also use the internet. So well, just in case.
He finally showed up to work.
You're very proud of your T-shirt, by the way. Do you
I am.
show everyone?
Oh, yeah. This is my Moon Valley Rockets. I'm a Phoenix kid. Perk didn't really have stuff like that growing up in Texas. But, you know, I'm just here to represent Arizona. I'm so proud. It's been so many years since this state has seen something like this.
That's because you tried to win an NCAA tournament title and failed.
I did. I was so close. But you know what? This is about the Phoenix Suns. And really, the Phoenix Suns are going to win it all. I'm done. I've come over to the other side. And I was questionable, but the Phoenix Suns are going to win it all, so we can all just sit back and enjoy how it's going to happen and which way it's going to happen. So, you know, that's where I stand with all that.
We'll get to your predictions at another part of the show.
That's fine. We can start the show with my predictions.
We will dig into everything going on with the Western Conference Finals in just a minute, but first, let's talk a little bit about the East. There is an old West African proverb that Teddy Roosevelt made famous in America more than a century ago. Talk softly and carry a big stick. The idea spawned a whole military ideology, the idea that you don't need to stand on desks or pound on tables in the hopes of convincing everyone else to do what you think is right. Just have the biggest, strongest army, and that will do the convincing for you. Khris Middleton is a man who does indeed talk softly. He does not have shoe commercials like Russ or a side career in movies or music like LeBron or Dame. He does not trash talk like Joel Embiid. But wow, last night when the Bucks absolutely, positively needed a big stick to avoid falling behind to the underdog Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, did Middleton come out swinging. 38 points on the night, 20 in just the fourth quarter, a closing kick in which he outscored the entire Atlanta team. Now, it's important to note the Hawks were hampered at that point. Trae Young, who, by the way, is a player who talks loud and carries a big stick, he has been having a fabulous series, a fabulous game, even throwing another shimmy in there at the end of the third quarter until a freak accident happened, stepped on a referee's foot, twisting his ankle and suffering what an MRI today revealed as a bone bruise. Young went back to the locker room for a little, came back on the court in the fourth, and even hit that really pretty bucket you just saw, but otherwise just clearly not himself. He'd say later he just didn't have the explosiveness that he usually uses so well to create separation, and you could tell that anytime he tried to plant his right foot, just wasn't good. All of which cleared the stage for Middleton, who once he started flamethrowing, just did not stop. Like the entire Bucks team, Middleton has been criticized in the past for not stepping up in big moments, but that perception is changing, and these kinds of nights are a big reason why. It's interesting. After the game, Giannis was asked about his early days in Milwaukee, when he and Middleton were literally clawing at each other in practices trying to get playing time. The Athletic's Eric Nem actually had a story with Giannis talking about how he often went home with actual scratches on his arm, courtesy of Khris. But the experience didn't make them rivals. It bonded them, and that bond is paying off now, as Giannis clearly has just no ego about Khris being the one with a game that is more suited to being the team's closer. Take a listen to him talking here.
Greatness. What I saw today was unreal. It was freaking unbelievable. Carried the team at the end. I trust this guy to death. And if he wants the ball, he gets the ball. Simple as that. He was knocking out shots. Does it even matter who's the first guy? Does not matter. We play basketball. We try to win games. I want to be a winner. And I have the whole game to be, the guy. I don't care about being the guy in the fourth quarter. Whoever wants to be the guy in the fourth quarter, and or Khris or Drew, or PJ or Bobby or Brino, whoever the case might be, and help us win game. That's what I care about.
Giannis also revealed that a few days ago, he and Khris had a conversation about how long they wanted to play in the NBA, with Giannis telling Khris the day he retires, the day Khris retires, that will be the saddest day of his career. It's an interesting dynamic overall. Giannis is the one, certainly, who talks the loudest in Milwaukee. It's he who has the signature shoe, he who has the MVP trophies. But if Teddy Roosevelt were here, he would tell you, don't sleep on Khris Middleton. That big stick ideology isn't just for politics, but basketball too. All right, guys. So after dropping Game 1, the Bucks found themselves up 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. You can take a look at the bracket here. That red-hot fourth quarter from Middleton. Perk, what is your reaction to that outburst last night?
Well, I mean, he's the go-to guy, right? And when it matters the most, give the ball to Khris Middleton. He's the most skilled guy on the Milwaukee Bucks team. That don't mean he's the most dominant. And I said this, right? Khris Middleton is the Batman. Giannis is the Robin. Some people take it as a sign of disrespect. It's not. Giannis basically said it himself. In the fourth quarter, hey, let's run plays for Khris Middleton. This is a guy that is a shot maker. You could count on him at the free throw line. He's a guy that all season long, he always flirts around that 90, 40, 50 ball club, and he gets buckets, period.
Well, okay. This is what I love about Perk.
I'm glad you love it.
Perk will say something that I said a year ago and then make it his own. I love that about him.
I didn't hear you.
Because it's so authentic. I should have said it louder. Because I took a little bit of heat when I said that Giannis might be a Pippen. I said this last year and everybody went nuts. They were like, what are you talking about? He's a two-time finals, or he's a two-time MVP. He's this and this. I'm like, yes, but he needs a closer. He needs somebody there. And a lot of the criticism on Khris Middleton was that he wasn't good enough to be the closer for an MVP.
Right.
Would Khris Middleton be good enough to be a closer for Shaq? Right, like Shaq had Kobe. Like, if you have a guy that can get you so close to the mountaintop, you need somebody up there that has the closing ability to get to the top of the mountaintop.
It's important, too, to sort of differentiate. We're not talking about who's the most sort of has that, quote, clutch gene, who's sort of willing to stick their nose in there or pressure when it counts. We are talking about style of game and what a center is able to do versus what a wing player is able to do.
Yes, and that's perfect because that's where Giannis does a great job of conceding. Very similar to how other great big men will concede to their guards that can go and finish the job. And Khris Middleton finished the job in a way that we had not seen him do. He took the team on his back, said, hey, we got this from here. And then, look, that was it. If Khris Middleton doesn't need to do a lot of these, but if he can mix in a couple of these,
he's
the
done
Bucks.
A few in the past,
I'm
obviously not on this
stage. You don't need a lot.
Yeah.
You just need a few. And then that will be it because the rest of their team will surround them and just play high-level basketball.
You know, the thing that I love most about Giannis is that when he went to his post-game interview, he acknowledged that. So, like, when you think about the four quarters, the first, second, third quarter, Giannis dominated.
Yeah.
He didn't settle. He attacked the basket. And towards the end, he knows his weaknesses. He said, you know what, Khris, you got it going. Take us home. I affect other areas on the basketball court that don't show up in the stat sheet.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to switch out on Trae Young and keep him in front of me and challenge his shot. I hit the offensive glass. I'll do the defensive rebounding. So finally, I guess because we're back in Arizona, RJ is finally speaking the gospel.
I'm happy you two agree, even if the metaphors are a little mixed.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's all good.
It's fine.
I will say the last time the Bucks were 2 games away from the NBA Finals, the
Why
Raptors
are you going to do that?
came
Why are you
up-
going to do that to him? Why are you going to do that to him?
Here's the point.
He's like, before Bucks fans get carried away. I'm just kidding, Rachel.
Let me finish, Kanye. That I was going to say, this feels like a different situation. It feels like a different team to me. I don't know if that's just a vibe I'm getting from 2,000 miles away or whatever, but it does not feel to me the same way it did in that Eastern Conference Final.
It doesn't feel like they're a different team. It feels like they're playing against a different team. Sorry.
And there we go. Apparently, you can take them out of LA, and yet we still get the same thing.
Am I lying?
Let's talk about Phoenix and what's going on here tonight. After losing in a tight Game 4 on Saturday, the Clippers trailing 3-1 in these Western Conference Finals. Now, when Ty Lue was asked about coming back down from 3-1, Richard, you know something about that. Ty said, "We beat Utah and won 4 games in a row, so this is very doable," he said. Now, remember, these Clippers are the only team ever to come back from multiple deficits, 0-2 in a single postseason. So he's got reason to be confident. The last 3-1 comeback in the conference finals was the Warriors over the Thunder in 2016, and we know everything that spiraled from that moment. You know, look, Richard, do you share Ty Lue's confidence in the Clippers, given that you have been in a locker room with him when you guys were down 3-1 in finals?
I share the confidence that he's instilling in his team, and I 100% agree with that. Now, look, we can sit here and look at Ty Lue's record and be like, oh, well, he's done this multiple times. He's come back from 3-1 before. All the things that he's done, we know what he's capable of doing, but a lot of it has to do with the belief of your team. And in this moment, he's expressing to them, when he's like, look, we beat the best team in the league with the best record. We beat them 4 games in a row. We can do this again. Now, it's one at a time, but ultimately, I think Ty Lue is just giving his team confidence, and they're going to look at him as like, well, this man has done it on the biggest stage, so if he believes in us, we should believe in ourselves.
Well, I don't think it's durable, right? And Ty Lue said what he was supposed to say, and RJ was right. But, Rachel, I listened to your post-game interview with CP3, and I heard him tell you that he didn't want to talk about the 3-1 because he had bad experiences.
Yeah.
So that showed me that CP3 is on a mission. So he's coming in tonight to close this game out. So I took that as if CP3 is not going to let the Phoenix Suns come out of this game tonight without a win.
This brings up something great. So Monty Williams has all of these expressions. They call them Monty-isms here. And one of his expressions that he has been saying to his team, especially in these kinds of situations, is don't get happy on the farm. Meaning exactly what you're saying. Just because you're up 3-1, you're not satisfied. You should be on a mission. You should work just as hard. Kendrick, you like to break down country phrases for us.
I don't know what the hell that means.
Don't get happy on the farm. I know what he's getting at. Where did that, do you guys have that in Texas?
Well, no. I mean, I grew up on the farm, and I never heard of that. Maybe that's on another farm, but you know, only things I heard was things that I told you guys and shared with you numerous of times is, God bless his heart, baby. He don't know no better. That's the only thing I heard.
Monty grew up on an East Coast farm, so maybe that's the difference a little bit. There you go. Well, I certainly, this is a different situation. As much as I respect Ty Lue so much, his record, you're right, Richard, if you look at his particular record of coming back when his teams are down in a series, it is phenomenal. But guess what is different from when they run 4 straight against Utah?
Yeah.
They don't have Kawhi Leonard.
They don't have LeBron James or Richard Jefferson.
Say it again.
They don't have the Kawhi that helped them get past Utah. They don't have the Kawhi Leonard that had that spectacular game in Dallas that helped them come back in that series. It is a different beast this time. We will see what happens tonight. All right, coming up, whether they make the finals or not, it will be a tight turnaround for the